Hi, good morning, everybody. Thank you so much for joining SurgeTrader Live, October 27th. We have a very special guest today, somebody who's been with us in the past for some shorter clips, Mr. Bernd Sholopinski out of Dubai. Bernd, how are you today?
Not too bad. You almost pronounced it correctly. It's Koropinski, but it's fine.
Koropinski, thank you for the clarification. It's a tough one. That is a tough one. Bernd, I know
That's correct.
you've been trading for a very long time. You've been with Surge for a while. I don't know if it's still the case, but for some time you were the world record holder for highest prop firm funding across multiple firms. So it's great to have you on and share your story with us a little bit, and hopefully inspire some young traders.
Thank you for having me, Corey. It's my pleasure.
Wonderful. So, Bernd, for those who don't know you, can you share a little bit about your background, how you got started, what you're doing currently?
Yeah, just in a nutshell, obviously. So I'm based in Dubai. Originally, I'm from Germany. I just turned 40 2 weeks ago, so I'm, I think, rather the older generation. But
Me as
I'm
well.
also trading. I'm trading full time since now 10 years, since a decade. I also run licensed investment consultancy in Dubai. We are regulated by the UAE government authority, and we focus on trading education. And I'm also prop trading right now, currently managing $3 million in virtual prop trading funds, so to say.
Awesome.
Yes, that's me.
Awesome. That's cool. Quite a set of accomplishments. Share with me a little bit about the Trading Academy. Is it online? Is it local? How does it work?
Well, we have a physical office in Dubai, but most of the things we do online. So basically our students / members, they get lifetime access to live trading sessions. They can see me trading live, our mentors trading live. We have various courses. We have proprietary indicators, so to say, that we use to time the market, and our students get access to them. And so, yeah, it's like, they get access to literally everything that we offer in our academy for life.
Wonderful. Wonderful. And what's the kind of the principle of your training? What type of trading do you guys train on?
Oh, well, that's rather unique. As I said, we have some proprietary indicators that we developed. So it's kind of also in a nutshell, it's a two-step process. So our indicators, they are derived from fundamentals, because I firmly believe that fundamentals drive price, and it's a big misconception that price drives price. I mean, price can never drive price, right? So it's the fundamentals that drive price. So our indicators, they're derived from fundamentals, but we can plot them on the chart, so we make basically everything objective. And this is basically the first step of our process to basically identify whether we're going to be so biased in a market, whether we're going to be bullish, bearish, or neutral in a market. And if we are neutral in a certain market, then we stay away. But if we are bullish or bearish, we move to step 2. And step 2 is then the market timing, basically. And there we use technicals and mostly, basically, I would say, supply and demand and a little bit price action sprinkled in, but mostly supply and demand to time the market. But only if we are biased, either bullish or bearish, based on our proprietary indicator tools.
Wonderful, wonderful. So, I speak with a lot of traders in this program, and I'd say most of them are going to be primarily technically based. So it's nice to hear somebody looking at more of a broad fundamental view, because that is such a big driver of underlying price action. How did you kind of come up with the structure?
Well, that's a rather complicated story. I don't want to bore the audience, but it's basically we developed 3 tools. One is based on market cycles, because market cycles affect the market, especially election cycles. Right now we're in a pre-election cycle. We look at also valuation versus gold versus treasury bonds, and also versus the dollar. And we also look at what we call the smart money index. This is derived from the COT data, which is futures data. Obviously, you're 100% aware of that stuff. So
Sure.
so these are our three proprietary indicators. So market cycles, valuation, especially versus the treasury bonds, and our smart money index derived from COT data. So this is our underlying fundamental bias, and then we move to market timing.
Nice. And then as far as market timing goes, I know you mentioned vaguely, supply and demand. What kind of principles are you using there, and what kind of time frames are you looking at? Is this going to be a fast trade, scalping, multi-day?
No. I don't consider myself a scalper, not at all. So I would rather consider myself what we call it internally weekly income, which is, I would say, swing trading. So on average, holding period is like a week or so, 1 week to 2 weeks. So yeah, swing trading. So, and the execution time frame, I would say, is daily time frame. Sometimes I go a little bit lower, but daily most of the times, yes.
Got it. And for somebody who's looking for, because we have a lot of beginners who come through prop. They don't have the capital to get involved with trading, and maybe they don't have the education as well. If somebody was looking to get involved with you and your strategy, what do you like them to come with? Do you take pure beginners? Do you like them to have some background knowledge on trading?
No, they can be everything, literally, from pure beginner to advanced, who basically wants to have more funding in the future. So we take everything, and this is also really important. We offer something for everything, especially my live trading sessions that take place once, twice a week. We call them weekly funded trader outlook. They are rather advanced. We have other mentors. They stick to the basics, but my sessions are rather advanced, where I incorporate all the tools that I just mentioned. So we welcome everyone. So yeah.
Wonderful. Because as you know, some very novice traders, a lot of times it's a little too technical for them. So it's nice that you offer something for the pure beginner and something to grow into as they become more mature in their trading.
That's important, and that's why we also offer. So once somebody is a student, they are a student for life. So they have a lifetime membership, so to say. Because what I firmly believe also is that trading, a course doesn't make you a skilled, profitable trader, right? A course has a beginning and an end. So trading in general is not an event, it's a process, right? To become a trader is not an event, it's a process. So that's why, and that process, especially if you want to scale your funding, is like a never-ending process. So,
right. Yes. Of course, I'm sure even somebody as seasoned as yourself is still learning every day, right?
Yes, I mean, I would not say learning, but the mental side of the game, you can never disregard. And this is something like everyone has different, I call them inner demons. And everyone has different inner demons. And this is something we have to work on every single day, right? Because the market itself is very tempting, and we have to stay away from the bad habits, because everyone has bad habits.
I'm glad you brought that up. How do you guys handle that side of the book? I mean, the actual technical part of trading, you have a plan for. How do you train people on the non-technical aspect, the psychology side, so to speak?
Well, a psychology side is a tricky thing, right? Because ultimately you can have the best trading course, the best trading mentor, the best trading tools, but at the end of the day, nobody else, you're the one who's pressing the button. So it's something that we don't have a lot of influence. This is something that somebody has to really, right? Let's say one of the key words is accountability. Accountability is a very important word here. That they have to work on the mental side of things themselves. But I also say, the more experienced and the more skilled you get, the less I don't want to say mental issues you have, but the less bad habits you have ultimately, right?
It comes with confidence in the strategy, confidence in your success.
Exactly. It's confidence building is super important, but yeah, it's like any other profession in the world. The more skilled you become, the more confident you are, and then it's just the bad habits are getting less and less and less, obviously.
But tell me how you got involved in trading way back when. What was your first venture into trading?
Oh, a long time ago. As I said, I'm a full-time trader since 10 years. So I started off trading more than 12 years ago. So back then, I can say back then because I mean, there's obviously a lot of younger audience watching.
Right. Yeah. Absolutely.
So back then the environment was completely different, right? There was no YouTube, there was no like real big online education. Right now, there's so much information out there that it's almost overwhelming, and for people to find, let me call it the needle in the haystack, it's quite difficult and overwhelming. So back then it was like a few institutions out there, a few like, I would say, trustworthy traders, because I got education from former, two of my mentors. One of them was a Chicago Mercantile Exchange trader, trading on the floor, and the other one from the New York Stock Exchange, one of the biggest natural gas market makers. And I basically started to learn on futures, the real underlying asset. So I was in the very beginning, I was trading only futures. So this is where I started. So I think also for a trader, it's really important not to focus only on one asset, so on one market. A complete trader should have ideally the knowledge at least of all assets, of stocks, futures, and also forex, right? I think this is really important because of the cross asset correlations that nowadays exist. And
Sure. Yeah. Awesome. So you started live with them. You were learning from them remotely online, or you were in the pit with them. What was the actual?
Both. Not on the pit, but because they were already retired. Because I mean, also back then this was already a dying species because
sure.
Everything became electronic, right? You can tell obviously as well. And so I learned from them online, but also I traveled a few times to, one of them was based in Los Angeles, so I was traveling to the States quite a lot as well. And I put a lot of effort into my education back then, and I think it was worth it, all that effort. And
nice. What kind of industry?
Sacrifice as well. Yeah. No,
of course. All of the successful traders, we all have a sacrifice story, right? The hours of chart time. It's not free, that's for sure.
It's not free, yeah.
What did you do prior to trading? What were you trained in university?
I had a normal business degree. So I studied actually. Some of my time I spent also in the US at the UCSB, University of California in Santa Barbara. And there I studied actually business with focus on Middle East, because back then already I finished my studies in, was it 2007, 2008? I can't remember. Anyway, already back then I knew I wanted to come to Dubai, and so I focused on Middle Eastern business studies, so yes.
Wonderful. How is the trading climate in Dubai? We have many customers from UAE, particularly Dubai. A lot of trading there. Would you say that's a trading hotspot?
It definitely becomes, I'm not sure if it's already a trading hotspot, but it definitely is slowly becoming one of the biggest hotspots when it comes to trading, prop trading, cryptocurrency. It welcomes everyone, and the environment is great as well for various reasons.
Awesome. That's great. Let's jump over a little bit, because I know you've had some success in trading. From the start, you've been trading for a long time. What brought you to prop trading? From traditional finance to prop trading. Tell me about that transition.
Well, this was also more of a coincidence, to be honest. The first time I was exposed to prop trading was also in 2015, so a long time ago. And also back then, the environment was completely different. Prop trading space, there were like only a handful of prop firms. They were only offering futures, a handful of futures market. It was mainly based on day trading, so you had to close your trade on the same day, right? Not even there was no weekend holding or overnight holding, not even, right? It was like literally purely day trading, a handful of markets, ridiculous rules. So when I was introduced back then, I saw this is like ridiculous. It doesn't make any sense because me as a trader, I cannot have these limitations. And
very prohibitive. Some of those rules are very prohibitive, particularly if you're using a larger time frame or fundamentals.
Yes, yeah, it's important. It's impossible, right? It's important to become successful with these rules, right? Or to stay consistent. Let's say to stay consistent.
Sure.
And and the next time I heard from prop trading was only in 2022. So my prop trading experience itself, I'm rather new to prop trading. Although I manage now 3 million in funds, I only started prop trading. It was in June 2022. So a little bit more than 1 year and 4 months ago. And yes, I was just a potential business partner back then. Told me, hey, you have to look into this specific firm. And I was kind of really reluctant because I was like still under the assumption that it's similar to what it was back then in 2015. Rather naive, to be honest. And when I then decided, okay, let's have a look. And then I had a look and I was like, oh, the rules now, they have changed drastically. I can trade all the markets in basically all these futures market that I was trading on CFDs, even stock CFDs. I was able to hold over the week, overnight anyway, but also over the weekend. So I didn't have any limitations as a trader. So I was like, okay, give it a shot, and everything else is history.
Awesome.
And now I'm a big proponent of prop trading. I just now, yes, you could say I'm a prop trading ambassador because I'm like very big into prop. The advantages are just, yeah, it speaks for itself, right?
Let me ask you this question, because a lot of traders who come from traditional finance, they've held traditional brokerage accounts before, they're worried that the product is different. You mentioned it's a CFD product, which there are some differences. How does one adjust or overcome to feel comfortable enough to take the plunge into prop? Share with me your journey there, kind of figuring out how CFD is traded for you.
Since in the US, it might be a little bit different, the environment in general still. But since I'm based in Dubai, the UAE, in the Middle East, but also I think it's the same environment in Europe. It's just in the US, it's a little bit different. We are already exposed to CFDs, FX CFDs trading.
Right.
So because of the leverage aspect and the margin aspect, because futures, also I remember, to give you a funny anecdotal story, and you also might remember this, back in 2015, when I was trading the NASDAQ, so at NQ on futures, the margin for a contract was only $4,000 roughly. And the day trading margin was only half of it. And right. I remember also my mentor back then telling me, if you want to trade a low volatile market, a safe market, trade the NASDAQ. Oh, obviously everything has changed. Everything has changed.
Right.
And they stick to me. It stick to me because literally now, 7-8 years later, everything has changed 180 degrees, right? So now the margin became ridiculously high to trade one contract. Yes, you have now the micro and mini contract, but it became ridiculously expensive to trade real futures. The margin is now 5, 6, 7 times as high as it was back then. So it's difficult. I mean, you must have 50, 60, 70, 80,000 dollars in your futures account to trade like 1, 2, 3 contracts only. This is just right. Like it's what I would call not efficient, right? Not efficient.
Sure.
And so I was actually, that's why I'm telling this backstory, because I was transitioning into CFDs already earlier. So I was kind of trading CFDs. But still, until today, my analysis is on the real futures, on the underlying market, because the underlying market, as you said, the price chart looks a little bit different. So my analysis doesn't happen on the derivative, but it happens on the underlying market. And this is really important on the futures. And then I just, let's say, quote unquote, transfer my analysis, my entry stop loss target into the CFD, make a little bit a few price adjustment based on current price and entry. It's purely technical and easy to learn. And then I place my trade.
So what you're saying is, in short, not difficult. It's an easy transition.
Well, you have to learn it, but it's not difficult. Yes.
Good to hear. Because that's one of the things that a lot of people are a little bit apprehensive about, particularly in the U.S., going from, the underlying asset to a derivative. And, I've experienced it, you've experienced it, and it's been a welcome change.
Yeah. Yes, I mean, it's just somebody needs to show you how to do that transition. I never recommend doing this stuff by yourself, but this is really a simple transition. I mean, this is the least worry that you have to have, that kind of transition.
Right. Of course. Yeah. Of course. So you've dealt with many prop firms. I know you're a big proponent of SurgeTrader, and thank you for that.
Yes.
What do you typically share with people who are new to prop? What should they be looking for when they're getting into prop trading?
I would say nowadays, definitely use an established prop firm. There are only a handful established prop firms, and one of them is obviously SurgeTrader. I would not recommend to go to a new, very, very new, that is just launched prop firm. Yes, and the prop firm, obviously, it's important that the rules should be pretty simple and pretty easy to read, right? No hidden rules. No limitations. So if you see already some limitations, then just stay away from the prop firm, right? This is really important. So take something established and check for the rules, that there are no limitations. And also for me, what is really important, that the trading environment, that the markets, that the prop firm offers is like broad, that they're not only focused, and that's what you see in a lot of prop firms, that they reduce or remove a lot of markets, that they only offer FX and a few commodities and equity indices. What I like especially about Surge, that you can trade literally everything, right? CFD stocks and like literally everything. And even now, what I really like are the agricultural market, which is new, and people are most probably really scared of agricultural market, like coffee or cocoa and stuff like this. But I was trading that already when I was trading futures, so I'm a big fan of agricultural markets. So I'm happy that they now finally came into the prop space. And yes, I mean now you can trade all the markets in the prop space as well. So look for a prop firm that offers everything, no limitations, offers everything, and is established. And then you
excellent, great advice. Share with me a little bit about how you adjusted your risk management plan. That's another thing people grapple with when they're trading their own account. There's very little accountability for risk management. With a prop account, you have very set rules. You have to trade within them. How do you or your students, how do you guide them on that transition?
So it's also actually rather simple, I would say. I mean, so we have to maybe differentiate between the challenge phase or the audition phase versus then the real trading environment. Although right now what slowly becomes industry standard, I would say, in the challenge/audition phase is that everyone removes the time limit, the time aspect, right? I mean, Surge was one of the first one. Surge, I think, was the first one or one of the first ones.
I think we were the first one.
Yeah, which I liked so much when I first was introduced to SurgeTrader, and I saw like there's no time limit, like no 30 days time period. Like I was really happy about that, because this adds additional pressure on the trader, and this pressure shouldn't be there. So I was really happy about that. But if there is kind of a time limit in a challenge phase, you also, what I also say, like in a challenge phase, in an audition phase, you don't want to spend ages you want to pass that. So I take a little bit more risk. So in the challenge phase, I like to take usually 2% risk per trade. And this is how I teach our students to take trades, 2% risk per trade, 1-to-1 risk to reward ratio. So you need between 4 and 5 winners overall to get like to the 8 or 10%, depending on the prop firm rules. But then in the live trading environment, we teach and we preach, and what I do is 1% risk per trade, and let's give it a go. Pretty simple.
Great. So you actually reduce the risk in the live.
Yes. Because of the daily drawdown limit and the max drawdown limit, you can always have like 2-3 consecutive losers, right? Can always happen. So you shouldn't get into too much pressure. So that's why I would go for 1%. So just to stay safe, right?
Sure. Do you typically advocate for written trading rules for your new traders?
Yeah, we have just a single course for like that we call a business plan or trading plan, however you want to call it. Of course, you also, again, trading is no different than any other profession in the world, than any other business in the world, right? So, and I always say, do you know any business that is successful without business plan? I don't know, right? I don't know any business that isn't successful, that needs business plans, right? So that's why a trader needs a trading plan, and this has to be written. However you want to write it down, but it has to be a written trading plan. It has to include your rules has to be incorporated, money management rules, risk management rules, etc. Maybe even your routine. In the beginning has to be super detailed, and everything has to be objective that you have to follow mechanically. The more mechanical you become in the very beginning, the less, well, you won't get into so many bad habits eventually if you're really objective and already very rule based in the beginning, I would say. So that's why this is really important. This is essential. Right?
Good. I'm glad you mentioned that. I've always been a huge proponent of that as well. And when a new trader comes in and they've said they've had some success and some failures, it often boils down to just that. They don't have a plan with repeatable, consistent activities that lead to success, and it really seems to kind of move the needle for them.
100%. I fully agree.
Do you have any success stories where maybe some of your traders came to you, they went through the course, they went to a prop firm, and, things kind of changed around for them?
Oh, 100%. I also have a YouTube channel. I started a YouTube game now back in February, March, I think. Only in March I started my first YouTube video. You can check out my channel, Bernd Skoropinski. And we do podcasts with our students that have any kind of success. And also 2 of our students currently, they passed this month, and I'm gonna post that in a couple of days in November. They passed the SurgeTrader audition.
Wonderful.
One of
wonderful.
them the 50K and the other one the 250K. So yes, I mean every month either students get nice payouts and or passing any audition or challenge. So yes, 100%.
Awesome. It's good to hear.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yes.
So the podcast is kind of their story, how they started, what kind of challenges they had.
Yes, which is really relatable, right? Because these are students who basically have, most of them or all of them, they have a full-time job, they have a family, they have social obligation, they have a normal life. They are not like full-time traders like me with 10 years of experience, and which is maybe not the most you want to maybe learn from me, but it's maybe not relatable yet for you, what I'm saying. So that's why we do these podcasts with something more relatable, with people that have similar struggles than everyone else, right?
Absolutely. That's what we often hear. That's what the people want to see. They want to see, success testimonials from their peer group, essentially. And it sounds like you're providing that. We'll check it out. We'll link it in the description here, guys, if you want to take a look at that podcast as well. So, Bernd, again, thank you so much for joining me. It's been a real pleasure. It's great to catch up and hear your story and the success you're having, not only in your business, but in your prop trading as well. Any last tips? Oh, my pleasure.
Anytime.
Thank you.
It's my pleasure. I really like to catch up with you.
Thank you so much. Anything before you go, any last tips for new or aspiring traders, maybe a rule of thumb?
Yes, well, I would always say what is really important, don't treat prop trading like a lottery ticket. I think a lot of people do that nowadays. They see that as their way out, and they hope they get a lucky shot and a big payout, and that's it. That's a profession, that's a business, that's not sustainable. So treat it like it's like a milestone that you become a funded trader and then eventually become funded, maybe with a small amount, and then you slowly scale up. It sounds cliche, but it's a marathon. It's not a sprint. And so yes, it takes time. Obviously, get some education first, then get funded with a small amount, and then slowly scale up. It's a milestone. It's at the end of the day a milestone plan. And yes, that's my biggest advice for everybody who's
Awesome.
new to.
Perfect advice. We see it all the time. Well, Bernd, thanks again so
Yes.
much. It's a pleasure. Have a great weekend, and we'll catch
Corey,
up down
thank
the
you
road.
so much. Perfect.
Thank you, sir.
Bye-bye.